Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today, this afternoon. Welcome to Scotiabank Arena as we introduce our newest player, John Tavares. The order for today, we'll have a couple words from Team President Brendan Shanahan and also General Manager Kyle Dubas, followed from questions from the floor. Following today, we'll also have some scrums in the dressing room after the formal Q&A portion is done. I'd ask you please wait for the mics and also silence your phones. Without further ado, Brendan Shanahan.
Thank you. Thanks, Steve. I just wanted to welcome everybody here today. It's an exciting day for this organization. We're very pleased. Want to, before I hand this over to Kyle, I just want to say that you know, the amount of work that has been put into this organization by so many different people from top to bottom, which has set this team up in to be a competitive team in the NHL, is something that I'm very proud of the people that have worked for us over the years. Certainly want to welcome Larry Tannenbaum and Aaron, John's fiance, and Mike Babcock. And I also, at this point, want to before I hand it over to Kyle, thank him for the work that he did in the last few weeks with his leadership and his vision as far as getting this team to where we want it to be. Certainly, there are a lot of steps involved, and this is another very great and significant step for this this organization. So, thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Brendan. Before we get started, I just want to take a moment to thank the folks at CAA Sports, Pat Brisson, Jim Nice, and Rachel Fight for their help along the way and putting this deal together in the last day here with Brandon Pridham and Lawrence Gilman on our staff. It was very, very good to work with them and thank them for that. I'd like to thank Mr. Tannenbaum and our board for giving us the opportunity to do things like this when they come at the right time for us, and obviously we feel that that time is now. I'd like to formally welcome John Tavares and his fiancée Erin to our organization. It's a very exciting day for us as we continue to move towards our ultimate goal and continue with our process here. And with that, I'll turn it over to you for questions for the three of us.
Thanks. We'll go with Penny.
I'm good, Coach.
You're good, literally.
Thanks. John, welcome to Toronto. So many tipping points that would have led you to today's decision. Maybe what stood out for you, one of those tipping points?
Well, it was quite the process. One of the toughest weeks, and obviously I say that, you know, knowing the position I'm in and how fortunate I am to be in this position, it was tough. You know, you're in one place for so long, you get so embedded, your roots are so deep in there, and you care so much about the people and the people that have cared about you. It really took the right opportunity and the right fit. I thought the timing was just couldn't be beat, and certainly being from here, and I think with the with where this team's at and how good and young their core players are, and obviously, you know, seeing in recent weeks how the Marlies did and what the future holds with much more talent in the job that they've done here, it was just hard to turn down. It was hard to turn down this opportunity. It's obviously one of the premier organizations, not just in hockey but in sports, and you know, as a kid, you know, cheering for the Leafs growing up, you know, you start to get those feelings again once I went through the interview process and got that, and just what it was like as a kid watching the Leafs and following my favorite players. I thought the timing was too good, and it was an opportunity I didn't want to turn down, and very fortunate to be here and happy to call myself a Maple Leaf.
Size.
John, Mike Zeisberger, NHL.com. Your buddy Steven Stamkos went through this exact same thing a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I remember talking to both of you at the World Cup of Hockey training camp about it, and you guys were joking to each other. Did you talk to, I know you talked to a lot of people through this process, did you talk to Steven about it? And obviously the limelight is going to be shining a lot, you know, brighter here, and that's no offense to the island, but mm-hmm. you understand just what you're stepping into. Can you discuss a little bit about that? Yeah,
well, I mean, first on the attention, I think obviously I have an understanding of that. I've never been through it. I think that's some of the unknown, but that's what comes with being a Maple Leaf, and obviously, you know, pressure just means it's a great opportunity. You got something to do, something special, and all you can do is put your best foot forward every day. Just try to be myself and go about my business like I have. Not try to change as a person, and just believe in my abilities as I had since I was a kid. And to your point with Stammer, I talked to him this week. Probably mostly about Tampa Bay more than this, but he was really good. I think he understood what I was going through. As similar as the situations are, there's definitely some differences, and that's, you know, probably the reason why I'm here today. And he probably felt differently then. Without him probably making that decision, who knows? But maybe this doesn't become a possibility. So, but. You know, he's someone I've known for a long time, played a lot of minor hockey together, played against each other a lot, some great experiences with Team Canada, so he was great in just chatting and getting to know kind of his perspective on things.
Greg.
John, you're coming from a situation where you were wearing the C. Has there been any discussion as to what your role will be? And maybe Brendan or Kyle, you could answer that as well. Do you expect to be wearing the C with the Toronto Maple Leafs next year?
No, that was never came up in our conversations over this past week. You know, they definitely expressed me coming in and wanting to use my experiences as a captain and things they believe that I can use as leadership qualities. So, like I said, just try to be myself and bring what I can to the group to, you know, help contribute and try to be a piece of the puzzle.
Sure. I think in my experience with teams, when we've rushed decisions like that, they've always turned out poorly for the organization, and I don't want to ever, especially here now with where we're at, it's definitely not a decision to be rushed. We want to see how the group fits together. We want to see how the group works together, and then as time goes on, we'll evaluate where we're at, and if there's one player on our group that we feels deserves that honor to be the captain of the team, we'll make that decision then. But I know it's a popular question here, but it's not something that can be rushed whatsoever on our end, because it is an important distinction to be the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we feel we have some great leaders, John among them, and we'll see how it all works together here this season and perhaps beyond, and we'll make that call when it becomes apparent to us all.
Josh.
Kyle, the hockey world's been on edge for the last week, and then more so in the last 48 hours. How has this process been from your perspective, and when did you learn that he was going to be coming here? When was the decision finally made?
Well, I think we prepared, and Mike and myself and Brendan went to Los Angeles and to the CAA offices on Monday to meet with Pat, Jim, Rachel, John, and Aaron. And so we prepared as well as we could for the presentation, put our best foot forward, and then as the week went on, continued to get questions from Pat and from John and the representatives, and then late last night it became apparent that this is the way that John was leaning with his decision, and then we had to work out a contract, obviously, late, very, very late last night into the morning and this morning. So that's the way that it went. In terms of being on edge, I think we were very hopeful. We thought we made a very good case and just presented, all we did was present the people that we have here, the coaching staff, the leadership from Brendan on down, and the rest of our staff here. And then I think the most important part was presenting the players that John was going to play with. And in the end, that's why I think John would, if you boiled it down, that's why players want to come to different places, because the players that they're going to play with and be with every day on the team. And our guys were very, very good. I think perhaps John could speak to it, but letting him know how we operate and what he could expect here. So it was exciting for us, and these things, you always go up and down as you go along the process in terms of where you stand. Are you in or are you out? But obviously very, very, very exciting as it came to fruition here today.
Lance.
For Brendan, in the past, maybe well-known Toronto players coming back here didn't always work out. But do you feel in the last year, and with what guys like Mitch and Connor Brown have done, that it's a better environment and more conducive to success, certainly in this situation?
Well, I think it was something when I first got here that I recognized there were some changes that needed to be made. Certainly, in any organization, you want to make it an organization where players can thrive and have success, and you just want to give them all the tools and on the ice, off the ice, for them to be able to enjoy their careers. So a lot of work has gone into it. A lot of people have joined us over the years to get us to where we are. And as Kyle said, most importantly, it falls on the players that we have on the team. And you named some guys yourself that really enjoy being Maple Leafs and put the work in, and they also understand the importance that being a Maple Leaf has to the city of Toronto. So I think those are all things probably, again, you can ask John, that we're a good match in personality with John, and not to mention the fact that this is where he grew up. And I can say that when you grow up somewhere, even it's sometimes even harder for those players to come home, and they have to sort of feel safe that this is a place where they're going to be given every opportunity to have success, because it's not just you, it's your family, it's the people you grew up with that are going to go on that journey with you. So I think that certainly we understood that was an important part for John, that his family, and that this is a place he grew up a Leaf fan, and but we had to do our part as far as making the on-ice product something that would be attractive to a competitive person like John.
Chris.
John, Chris Johnson from Sportsnet. Can you elaborate a little bit on what the process looked like on your end, especially since you returned from LA, and how did you get to the point where the Leafs ultimately were where you wanted to sign?
Yeah, so, well, I mean, first off, I think all the teams that I met with were awesome, and obviously, you know, I took it very seriously, the commitment that meant for those teams to come all the way out to Los Angeles and present to me. I didn't want to include anyone in there to waste anybody's time. I wanted to be very thorough. I wanted to be very honest and very open to everything. But certainly once we got into the process and kind of my feelings were developing over the few days, you know, every team made a great case. Made me feel like there was some obviously great potential with what could be there. But as we got back from LA, I just felt like my heart was in two places: where I'm from and a place where I've been for a long time that helped me become the man that I am today. And I was just, my gut was just tearing apart. My heart was tearing apart, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And yesterday was one heck of a day. Can ask my fiance just the amount of times I walked up and down the pool at my house, just trying to get a sense of what I wanted to do and the path I wanted to take. And I just felt this opportunity was just so rare. The timing of where this organization's at, where the team's at, obviously the connection of being from here. And, you know, I believe that this team's got such a great opportunity, and not just for the first few years of my contract, but for me, what was important was all 7 years, to really believe that there was a big window here to win, and be a part of something special, and to be from here. You know, you start to get those emotions coming, and it just felt right. I just, from the meeting we had, to my feelings over the few days, and then yesterday, just really just feeling right, and it was what I wanted to do. And I knew it was maybe a little bit of the uncomfortable thing to do, but I didn't want that to hold me back from taking a chance at a great opportunity. And, you know, just going to try to put my best foot forward and do the best I can. And obviously, I believe we can do some special things.
Mike.
Michael Tricos, Post Media News. Question for Brendan and Kyle. How did this pitch differ from 2 years ago with Steven Stamkos in terms of where the Leafs are today versus where they were a couple years ago, where Matthews wasn't on the team, Mitch wasn't on the team yet?
I'll let Kyle speak.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the Stamkos pitch, I think the team was at a very different time. We had just finished last place, and we had drafted Austin. I think going in and talking to John, you're able to enlighten on a definitive situation rather than a speculative one. And our discussions really were focused on hockey and how John fit into the hockey team. Mike went through at length how John would fit into our roster, how he would be deployed and used, and I think how we could continue to help John to develop and improve as he goes all the way through the contract with our staff that's in place in terms of coaching and our development staff as well. So that was really it. We just focused on who we are, what we've learned about ourselves the last 2 years, where we've come as a franchise, and we've been in the playoffs the last 2 years. And when we during the Stamkos situation, we had not been there yet, and we just finished 30th. So I think our young people and our young players on our team have really pushed that forward, and I think in the end those are the people who help make the decision. It's exciting to know those aren't prospects anymore. They're players that have had very good starts to their career, and they're very young, and they're going to continue to develop and grow and have some ups and downs as young players do in the league. But I think it's exciting for anybody that's looking to sign somewhere to look at that and realize what it could be for however many years they're able to sign here for. So that's got to be, in the end, the most exciting part, and that's what made it easy for us to go on and talk about who we are rather than what we can be.
Dave.
Dave McCarthy of NHL.com. Kyle touched on a little bit there, John, but I can imagine having played in one organization for 9 years, just from the pure hockey standpoint of learning sort of the culture and the expectations within the organization. It's tough to go to another organization when you may not be familiar. Having had the opportunity to work with Mike at various international tournaments and listening to what he said during the pitch, how much easier does it make it coming to a team where you're familiar with the head coach and what the expectations might be?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's definitely a comfort level with Mike. And he was tremendous in the meeting. I think just trying to get me to feel how I can be a part of this team and how I can contribute. And just his energy and his vision and obviously his work ethic are second to none. He's gotten results everywhere he's been. And definitely, yeah, I mean, those you develop a comfort level, and we had some great results the last 2 times we've been together. So, you got me excited on how I could fit into the team and contribute. And obviously, we want to repeat what we've done before. So it's a process. It's a long journey, but it was great definitely having that relationship beforehand.
Terry.
John, Terry Cochin, Toronto Sun. You've had a couple of years now to face Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, and I imagine the likelihood is great that you'll be playing with one of them. What comes to mind when you watch and compete against Matthews and Marner? And secondly, then what do you see for the future of this club with those two?
Well, I mean, they're such a big part of it here. I mean, they're drafted here. They've accomplished so much in such little time. You can only think about the trajectory they're on, and I think that's what gets me excited. Is those players are so good at such a young age and such a big spotlight. I think just first of all the way they handle themselves, the way they're able to deal with what comes with playing in Toronto and just being able to play their game, being the type of people they are. And obviously, I think them as players. I think obviously, Austin's got great potential to be one of the great goal scorers in our league, and kind of this young wave of players. There's no secret. He's just got an amazing knack for finding the net, incredible stick skills, not just handling the puck, but I think stripping guys and takeaways and being able just to be so crafty. I know playing against him, I always had to be so careful with the puck around him because he could knock a puck down or strip you from behind, and just so quick at getting that shot off, and plays a heavy big man's game that 200 feet of the ice in all areas at such a young age. It's very impressive. I didn't have that in my game at that time, so extremely impressive. And obviously Mitch, his speed, his ability to control the play, control games at times, his ability to move the puck and create time and space with his feet is extremely impressive. And same thing, he's another guy when you're on the ice, he's around the puck, he's on top of the puck, and he wants it. And I think that's a big quality to have, is they want the puck in all situations at any time of the game.
Okay, Ryan.
John, it's Matt Larkin with the Hockey News. Obviously, you're joining a winning situation. This team just set a franchise record in points. But stylistically, when you watch the Leafs or played against them, what is it about the style of play that appealed to you in terms of a fit?
Yeah, well, I think, you look at, obviously, I think just the depth up front, and the youth, how young they are, the energy they play with, the pace they play with, and not only that, the creativity they play with. And I know, going through this process this week, I started to think a lot about playing against the teams that I was considering, and I just remember how tough the games were this year, how tough they were to play against. Just no room, no time and space. I know the defense has been talked about a lot here over probably a little while, and I just remember how tough they were to play against. So, I think it was just the depth they bring and that youth, that energy, and their ability to be creative, and obviously a good sense of who they are and kind of their identity and the way they play.
Take 2 final questions. Zeiss?
Yeah. John, Mike Zeisberger again. Just, you know, the jubilation for one fan base is heartbreak for others, and especially on the island. What do you say to you know, the fans there? Obviously, it was a tough decision for you, and I know that played a part in it. Just your message to the Islander fans.
Yeah, it was. That place means a lot to me. Everything I've been through there, the impact people had on me, the things we went through as a group, teammates I've been through there. You know, it was such a hard decision because just really how special it was. It's a great organization, a tremendous fan base, tremendously loyal, tremendously passionate. You know, you ever been to a game with Islander fans? It's something really unique. You know, I think my message is, you know, I made some statements on Twitter today, and I think I tried to put some things that really came from the heart. And I think just what I want to reiterate is just really thank you. Thank you for the impact that you made on me. I don't know if words can describe how much I appreciated my time there, the impact everyone made on me. And I think the organization's in great hands. There's some great people there. Obviously some new faces that are going to do some great things, I believe, and there's some great talent there. You know, you got some great pieces, and obviously lean with the kid who won the Calder Trophy this year, and just an amazing young kid. And so I think the future is bright there. I think that's the biggest thing is I know it's been a bittersweet day and tough at times for me the last couple of days, just how close I've been connected to so many people in that organization, but I really believe they got a bright future ahead of them.